TNN, the Nashville Network.
When the Busch Series comes to Talladega, Series regulars must challenge the Winston Cup stars for superspeedway supremacy. With each Busch driver saying, maybe someday, maybe this day, maybe.
Maybe someday I'll be strong. Maybe it won't be long. I'll be the one who's tough. You'll be the one who's got it rough. It won't be long, and maybe I'll be real strong. Maybe I'll be fast as you. Maybe I'll break hearts too. But I think you'll slow down when your turn to hurt comes around. Maybe I'll break hearts and be as fast as you.
From the world's fastest speedway, you're watching Busch Grand National Racing live on the Nashville Network. From the Talladega Superspeedway, TNN Motorsports proudly presents live coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K for the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series. Thousands of fans await the command to fire engines here for 43 Busch Grand National machines. Winston Cup and ARCA and Busch Grand National regular drivers in the field today as we get set to go racing under 90-degree temperatures and very humid skies. Nice little cloud cover right now. That's helped the folks in the grandstand somewhat and on pit road and in these race cars. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Joy. And joining me are fellas that between them share 8 Talladega victories. Darrell Walter, Buddy Baker with 4 apiece. Let's turn on our TNN Wayback Machine and take you back to 1975.
Hey, that looks like ODW in the 88 car there. And Baker, you told me to stay in line. Now, what's the deal?
Well, here we have Darrell and I going by the start-finishing line there. This is Richard Petty and I fighting it out for the lead. My car gets a little loose and goes down in Richard's lane, and I'm able to hold him off for the win.
Yeah, I bet that took his breath away.
Well, they've each won 4 apiece here. How do you win at Talladega? What's the secret?
Well, Mike, I believe it's being precise, very precise moves, precision moves, if you will, almost. Be in the right place at the right time. It's really like the Blue Angels. You know, they get up there and they're side by side, inches away, and if one guy makes a wrong move, you got a bad crash, and that's kind of what happens here. You'll hear us talk today a lot about flaps up and flaps down. This is not an air show, but sometimes it turns into one.
Buddy, can this be a strategy race?
I think so, Mike, but one thing I always try to do is surround myself with talented people so I didn't get myself in trouble. So what I tried to do was get on a lane that was real fast with a bunch of drivers that I put a lot of dependence in.
All right, what we're going to do is go downstairs, get a little fluorescent paint for Darrell's very tasteful-looking tie as we go meet the pole sitter with Len Jarrett.
Well, a lot of fluorescent paint on this car, too, Mike. No mistaking who Jeff Purvis is. He doesn't run many Busch Grand National races. Jeff, you come in here, these guys don't like it too much when you come in here and steal their thunder, come to their backyard and take the pole away from them. Have you got something for them today?
I don't really know. They seem to think I do. They keep huddling up and leaving me out of the huddle, so I don't really know what they're talking about. But hopefully, if I've got a good car right here, they're going to stick around and try to be with me. And if I was in the points battle, that's what I'd try to do. I'd try to get with the fastest non-point car and go with them.
Well, he told me right before we went on the air that fastest car was him. He thinks he's got something for him, but before today's over, he's going to have to contend with that man in black back there, and Randy Pemberton is with him.
Well, you might think the man in black would take a Saturday off. Dale Earnhardt is starting on the outside of row 9, and he's the defending champion of this race. Dale, you're starting middle of the pack back here in 18th. What's your early race strategy? Would it be a mixture of patience and aggressiveness? I know you want to go to the front.
Well, just sort of wait and see how things shake out here. There's several good cars back here. Schrader and I run good together, and Ernie's not too far back. So we see how things shake out and get maybe a drafting partner and then try to start moving up. But really just want to get things sort of settled down and get in line.
Good luck, Dale. Well, I think Dale Earnhardt would lean a little towards the aggressive, and we'll be back to find out in just a moment when we bring you the starting lineup for the FRAM Filters 500K right after these messages.
Today's exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K on TNN is brought to you by Allied Signals FRAM Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley's been helping people do things right.
Getting set to roll off here at Talladega. Here's Die Hard Batteries present the starting grid for today's FRAM Filters 500K. And on the pole sits Jeff Purvis. First career Busch Series pole and his second Busch start of the season. Sterling Marlin has his first top 20 Busch start this year on the outside pole. Randy LaJoie, runner-up in last year's Thriller, and Mark Martin, who won at Darlington in March. Row number 3, Dale Jarrett, an 8-time Busch winner, and Morgan Shepherd has 15 career wins in this series. Michael Waltrip, second in this race 2 years ago. Terry Labonte, a 3-time winner this year. Then Tim Fiedler, row 5 top 10s this year, and 92 series champ Joe Nemechek. Derek Cope starts on the inside of row 6, winner at New Hampshire in May, and Mike McLaughlin, 4 top 10s in the last 8 races. Doug Hebron makes his best Superspeedway start. Jason Keller has a pair of poles this year. Ricky Craven, 2-time winner and second in points. Kenny Wallace, 7 top 5s, looking for his first win. How about this 9th row? Ken Schrader, 3rd at New Hampshire, and Dale Earnhardt, defending champ of this race. Row 10, Tracy Leslie, 4th last year. Chad Little last year was on the front row for this race. Row 11, Dennis Setzer, freshman's victory at South Boston, and Bobby Dotter, 4th in the point standing. Ernie Irvin won the first Busch race here in '92, and Hermie Sadler is 3rd in the points. Randy Porter, who finished 3rd at Atlanta, and Rich Bickle, second start of the year for the Wisconsin driver. David Green with a 47-point lead in the standings, and Rodney Combs with 3 top 10s. Row 15, Johnny Rumley makes his first start on an oval bigger than a mile, and Larry Pearson, 2-time series champion. Dale Fishline, Dave Marcus's Winston Cup crew chief, makes his first start, and Jim Bound with 4 top 10s this year. Mike Wallace, winner at Dover and Milwaukee, and Johnny Benson, who's run 3rd in each of the last 2 races. Elton Sawyer, who got his first win at Myrtle Beach last month, and Steve Grissom, the '93 series champ. Robert Presley has 5 top 10s in the last 6 races, and Harry Gant, winner at Atlanta in March. Tommy Houston finished 2nd at Bristol in April, and Mike Garvey makes his second start in the last 9 races. Dave Rezendes, first time ever at Talladega, and Kevin LePage, the rookie from Vermont, are the provisional starters, and Bobby Labonte takes the champion's provisional to get into the field. On the first pace lap, in the back straightaway, behind the Pontiac Trans Am safety car. Drivers that did not make the field include John Alexander, Troy Beebe, Joe Bessie, Chad Chaffin, Harris Devane, along with Richard Lassiter, Patty Moise, the last car to be bumped, Roy Payne, Stevie Reeves, and Dirk Stevens, the drivers who did not qualify for today's event. Riding along with Mark Martin there in the Winn-Dixie Ford. Here's his 360-degree race cam over the shoulder as he looks ahead at the... Welcome back to Talladega. We're on this lap. We drop the green flag. So pick up again with our in-car cameras. Here's Mark Martin, the Winn-Dixie Ford. Just look over the shoulder. We'll have a variety of views from each of these cars, but Bobby Dotter in the DeWalt Tools Harbor Freight Chevrolet. And ready to roll, Ricky Craven looking forward at the field in his DuPont Finishes Chevrolet. And Ernie Irvin in the FRAM Filters Mac Tools for Thunderbird. And Mike Garvey in the UniFirst Uniforms Chevrolet. Or excuse me, that's a Pontiac out of the Delaware shop, a Pontiac for Mike Garvey. They head out of turn number 4 into the tri-oval, where at Daytona the start-finish line would be. But Bill France built Talladega. He knew people would sit in those seats to see the action on pit road and in the tri-oval, so he moved the start-finish line further down toward turn 1. As they roll through the tri-oval, we get set. Green flag is waving, and Sterling Marlin edges Jeff Purvis off toward turn number 1 by about half a car length. Make that a car length as they hit the banking.
Mike, the one thing you have there on the outside, if you see Marlin on the outside there with Mark Martin right behind him, Mark Martin has been the fastest car in practice all the way up to race time.
Yeah, I'm sure Mark and Sterling said, Sterling, you get the jump here, and I'll hop in behind you, and we'll go off and leave old Purvis. But he's holding his own pretty good down the back straightaway.
Jeff Purvis on the inside, right over. Chargers number 51, Randy LaJoy coming up behind him. They stay double wide.
See Mark looking to the outside there. He's up beside Sterling coming off turn 4.
So
Man,
much for
I tell you what, yeah.
And by the way, Sterling, I'm going to pass you coming off turn 4, so be ready.
End of the tri-oval, and they'll come down past the end of pit road to lap 1. Mark Martin has led every Busch race he's run in 1994. Morgan Shepherd right with him. Terry Labonte, Joe Nemechek on the outside row, and then Marlin is shuffled back to 9th place.
Boy, Jeff Purvis has a really strong car. He's basically by himself there. He pulled right up to 2nd place there. Now he's dropping back just a little bit. That's Morgan Shepherd in 2nd place, right behind the lead car.
Yeah, and back in there, Sterling Marlin still in the middle of the 2 lines of traffic. He's making it 3 wide through the turns. He's going straight to the back, and nothing he can do about it.
4 wide there for a second as they enter the corner, and Marlin has to squeeze out of there.
Yeah, he just got out of position, and he couldn't get in either line, which put him right in the middle of the 2 lines, and he's still there. He cannot go either. He can't get in either line.
I don't think I've ever seen that, where somebody here gets freight trained for a whole lap on both sides.
I've seen it.
Up close and personal.
Yes, I have. I've visited that.
Mark Martin leads lap 2.
You know, Mike, everybody wants to know what's so wonderful about Talladega. That's 3 abreast all the way around this racetrack. These guys are racing right now. Most exciting racing in the world out there.
It is, and it's also the most nerve-wracking because of the closeness. I mean, one bobble by somebody here is disastrous.
Riding with Ricky Craven. That's Kenny Wallace just ahead. 3 wide again up into turn number 3. Now 3 cars have established a little bit of a breakaway at the front.
Well, I guarantee you they'd love to keep it that way. That's Terry Labonte in 3rd there. If they can break away from that pack and kind of get by themselves and pull away from the pack, and it's a lot safer out there by yourself.
Johnny Benson has dropped the cylinder. Look at the 3 single-file cars open up on Jeff Purvis side by side with Nemechek. Mike McLaughlin right behind Nemechek on the outside.
Well, you see Purvis there right in the middle of that 2nd pack there. He's in the 2nd lane there, and he's not getting any breaks from anybody. He can't get back in line, and he's falling back as they go.
Here comes Marlin with a run back on the inside. This is for 4th place. 3 leaders have hooked up. Everybody else still battling.
Whoa, Mike Waltrip just made a move to try to get back in line there and almost got collected moving around there.
That's what's happening. You want to get back in line. You know you've got to get back in line, and you force yourself in there sometimes. And sometimes the other guy isn't willing to force it.
Dale Earnhardt started in the Wayback Machine. He's come from 18th to 6th.
You can do that here, Mike, because of running side by side, 2 or 3 or 4 wide like they're doing. It helps the guys in the back, really.
The one thing that Earnhardt does, you see him there moving on the inside. He never sits and waits on other people to make his race strategy up. He is a dominant race car driver, and when that hole opens up, he goes for it. He don't wait.
Now they've caught the leader. They're watching from Ernie Irvin. Back tools forward, having a look back. That's Jeff Purvis, who was the pole sitter.
Mike, that's the sight I always like. When I looked in the mirror and seen everybody. Look at Terry Labonte go into the lead now. He's getting under Mark Martin coming off turn 4.
The FW Windows Chevy led the points early in the season. Labonte, though, not running all of these Busch races, but when he runs, he is a threat. Number 14, Labonte. 2nd lead change of the day. Joe Nemechek into 2nd, Earnhardt to 3rd, Mike McLaughlin in 4th, just ahead of Mark Martin, the red car there.
You can see Mark Martin giving hand signals there for the guys to get in line and try to catch the lead cars. He's got somebody working with him there. That's Mike Waltrip that's right behind him. Now, they'll run the leaders back down, but if they run side by side, the leaders will check out on them.
Yeah, if everybody had a camera in their car, the fans would not, they would say, how can they drive those cars that fast, that close together with one hand? Because they got one hand stuck up in the air making signals to the guy behind them, and they're holding the steering wheel with the other.
Earnhardt loosens up Mike McLaughlin just a bit. Mike Waltrip's going to go with Earnhardt there. Mark Martin underneath again. 3 wide. Let's go to the pits.
Well, a couple of early race problems for some guys as we watch the leaders. Rodney Combs on pit road. He's got trouble with engines. Rich Bickle has trouble with his engine as well. Also, Johnny Benson Jr. has lost a cylinder, and Tommy Houston thinks he has a tire going down. So 4 early race problems for some of the top contenders in the Busch Series.
Thanks, Randy. Bottom lane went this time.
Yeah, that's Mark Martin. He's very strong. He has some good people with him there. That's Mike Waltrip in second, Sterling Marlin in third, and that's Dale Jarrett right there. That's a real fast lane in there, moving along quite well.
See, that's what Mark was telling Michael. The 60 car just fell off the pace all at once.
Something's wrong, desperately wrong, with Mark Martin's car. What's the light on the upper left? Is that oil pressure?
Well, the engine's dead, and the red light's on, so it's probably an engine problem, and when the engine dies, the light comes on.
Oh, that's too bad. He really had a good race car here.
Perhaps a dominant car. We'll never know.
Michael should thank him, because Mark told Michael to follow me, and I'll take you to the front, and he did.
So it's Mike Waltrip in front of Dale Jarrett. Terry Labonte in third in the white car. Sterling Marlin. Terry. Well, didn't have a lot of room left up there.
They better be glad they painted that thing one coat of paint, because that would have been too close otherwise.
Jarrett left him about the width of a 9EE up there. Look at Mike McLaughlin in that red car. For a fellow who has as little super speedway experience, he's doing a heck of a job.
He is, and he's gotten better and better every week in that car. He started off, he struggled. They even had trouble making races, but he's gotten better and better every week in that car, and he's starting to really show some talent.
That's the red fiddle faddle Chevy right behind them, black number 3 of Earnhardt.
Here we go. They're going to get 3 wide again.
I guarantee
4 wide.
The lead car is enjoying this. Right now, he's getting a little bit of advantage, but the bad news is Dale Earnhardt has moved right in on his back bumper. These 2 guys ought to check out now.
What do you think the record for wide is here? 4 is the most I've ever heard of. Could it be maybe 5 or 6?
We've seen 4 several times already, and this race is not yet 10 laps old.
You know, Mike, but it's a tribute to the equipment and to NASCAR and to the drivers. There's been years past where we couldn't have race cars run that close together without trouble. And the cars look very stable, almost as if they're, they're stuck to the earth tighter than they are on some of the shorter racetracks.
You're right, Darrell. It almost looks too easy.
It does. I think that's what happens to you here, too. It kind of lulls you into trouble.
Through the trial once again, Sterling Marlin with a clear advantage. They break formation, and they're going to put Mike Waltrip is going to squeeze out of the sandwich there.
Ernie Irvin has moved up into second place. He runs very well here. Anytime he comes to Talladega, he's one of the dominant cars.
Don't see much in front of Ernie Irvin right now. All you see is Sterling on the bottom lane.
Yeah, and Uncle Mike is in trouble because he's in the middle of those 2 lanes, and that's usually a ticket to the back.
Uncle Mike.
Well, Jessica might be watching, and Sarah, so they'll know who I'm talking about.
Right. 2.8 million viewers, and he's Uncle Mike to 2 of them. We'll just talk to them. It's okay. Here goes Irvin for the lead, and he's going to drag Earnhardt with him.
Yeah, Sterling will end up about 4th or 5th out of this exchange here, maybe 4th.
Glenn Jarrett is with Mark Martin.
Well, and he's standing here looking at this race going on, wishing he were a part of it. Mark, you had an awfully fast car all week, but what happened?
I think we probably broke a piston in the engine. The Winn-Dixie team had me in a great race. Best restrictor plate Busch car I've ever had. That thing was really ran good, handled good. I sure wish we could have run along all day, because it was going to be a lot of fun, but we'll just have to get them next time with this thing.
Well, it's been that kind of year for Mark Martin. Last year could do no wrong. This year, nothing but frustration. Mike?
Earnhardt for the lead, Glenn. Underneath Ernie Irvin. And that Chevrolet lineup goes right underneath Irvin's Ford.
You said something about McLaughlin a while ago. What a great run. He's in 4th place right now. You see him going into 3rd as we speak. This guy is really hooked up, and he's driving way beyond his time on this racetrack. He's doing a super job.
Yeah, and then he had the good sense to jump right back out in that line, too, and not hang on the bottom and lose time. He's doing a great job.
He's in the 34 car behind Earnhardt and Marlin. The outside lane works its way to the front as the FRAM Filters 500K is 11 laps old here at Talladega. New leader is Sterling Marlin. Earnhardt in second. Chad Little's muscled his way up to 3rd. I'll show you how it happened.
Boy, you just see the 2 lead cars racing there. McLaughlin's in 3rd there. They go down into turn 3. These cars are very evenly matched here. Chad Little made a move down the front straightaway to get by McLaughlin and brought Ernie Irvin with him.
Mike McLaughlin then got shuffled to the middle lane and then shuffled left.
Yeah, well, there's one thing obvious. You don't want to get in the wrong lane, and that's the middle lane today. Well, we're starting to get strung out in this a little bit. If we can get 10 or so laps under your belt here, they'll finally string themselves out, get single file, and get down to some more sane racing.
Back past Rich Bickle. And Rodney Combs has made a pit stop and back out. Michael Waltrip appeared to drop a cylinder and fade way back in the field. He's still running.
Mike, Johnny Benson is in on the pits now. He's had some trouble. He's been in for several laps now. He was 11th in the points. This is not helping his effort to try to get in the top 10. Chad Little must feel pretty good right now. The race car is sticking in there. If anything, he's leaning on it coming out of the corner. And that really means that we have a strong car here at Talladega. Gain coming out of the corner.
Schrader's big up there.
Kenny Schrader in the 52. There he is right side of your screen, the AC Delco car in 6th place.
You notice how the Winston Cup guys, they always find that right up next to the wall outside move on the Busch guys. The Busch guys think that wall's a lot bigger than the Cup guys.
I think you're right.
They can get slick. Winston guys will slip right up there next to it. The Cup guys and the Busch guys like to stay away from it.
Derek Cope moves up into the picture. He's in that Ron Zook number 82.
Right behind them is a guy I think that's using his head a lot right now. Randy LaJoy has a very strong race car, one of the fastest in the track. He's sitting there about 7th, 8th place right now. He's riding along back this time. You see him at the back of the line right here.
And he's now the first in the Busch Series regulars. Shepard back in it.
Now you see Chad Little on the inside there. That's killing him until he gets somebody to help him draft. He's already dropped from 3rd all the way back to about 6th now and losing ground fast to the leader.
And there's old Red Farmer's car up in there too. The 82 car. Chad Little. He's running pretty well. All the Fords are up there running pretty well.
Derek Cope won the race at Loudon in this particular car, and it is very, very strong. It's a good race car. I wouldn't be a bit surprised the way it's handling and all. And all these boys know a lot about drafting. Every one of the guys up front right now. You see Cope right now, he's up in the 4th place, and he's really hanging in there. He's with a very good man, too, Schrader. If I was going to pick somebody to draft with all day, it would be Kenny Schrader.
What we're having happen now is we're breaking out into about 2 groups here. We've got a fast group of about 15 pulling away from about a medium speed group of about 15.
Look at Ernie Irvin right on the very bottom there, and he's got some help, so he's going to go right on up towards the front, too. You get these lines where they're running like this, there's no advantage to being on the outside or inside if you have somebody to help you.
It's all momentum. If you can get a good draft and get a run, and you can carry it off in the corner, and you don't have to lift out of the throttle at all, then you can go right to the front. Same thing will happen to the other line next time. They get a good draft, they get a good run, and they go right to the front. It's really back and forth kind of racing.
Ernie Irvin gets a tow off Sterling Marlin in the 4 car. Kodak Chevrolet. So Derek Cope in 82, who did not qualify for tomorrow's Diehard 500. Ernie Irvin alongside Earnhardt. All looks real familiar except for the black paint. Where are the Busch drivers? Now there's Jeff Purvis in 51.
They're checking Earnhardt out for tough right now. Nobody's helping him. If you notice, the 4 car, Sterling Marlin, goes down going in the corner. So whatever the 3 car does, he'll have to do with a little tow from behind.
Yeah, well, buddy, I don't feel real sorry for him. I mean, why would you help him? Why would you help the guy that's got a bit? He probably doesn't need any help, to tell you the truth.
Sterling's about to feel like the hot dog in the middle of those 2 buns and get squeezed out of the middle here.
He's in that middle line, and that's a wrong place to be.
Chad Little started to move up. He made a very smart decision not to pull across on the front of the 3 car Earnhardt.
Tracy Leslie up there in the Detroit Gasket Chevy, among the Busch regulars.
This right here is like, if you ever sit in 2 lines of traffic and want to move, and yours won't, and you say, I'm going to get in that other line, and then you get in it, and all of a sudden it doesn't move, and the one you were in is moving. That's kind of what happens to you here. You get in the line, you say, this isn't going anywhere. I'll get in the other one. That doesn't go anywhere.
And you see Ernie is very, very smart about this racetrack. Going through the corner there, he split the 2 lines, so neither one of the lines really had an advantage of gaining a lot of ground on him. See him going in the middle part of the racetrack here. You can bust the draft up on the 2nd and 3rd place car that way.
Officially, we've had 9 lead changes in 20 laps because they only count who leads at the start-finish line. Unofficially, we've probably had about 20 lead changes in 20 laps. Count each time. Trouble up in 2. One car is that Derek Cope. One car has let go.
That is
33, Bobby Labonte.
Yeah.
The Dentine car.
Wow, he's had a bad weekend. He had to take a provisional. So he's got his hand up, signaling to the guys behind him. Got trouble. Of course, they can see he's got trouble, but he's letting them know.
They'll race around. No caution flag in the hand of the starter as yet. So perhaps Labonte did not dump any fluid down on the racetrack. Back toward the tri-oval, and it looks like we're going to stay green here at 20 laps.
Chad Little just has to be elated with the way his race car is running. He's passing Ernie Irvin with no help whatsoever right at the time. Jeff Purvis just got behind him. We'll see how strong he is, but he took the lead right by himself.
And here goes Ernie in the middle lane.
Yeah, just like Darrell said, that middle lane is no place to be.
That's the excuse me lane. Excuse me, I'm in the way and I'm going to get out of it.
Yep. Jason Keller, Tracy Leslie, everybody going right now. Irvin finds a way up to the top lane behind Terry Labonte. The MW Window Chevy. 21 laps. We continue under green here at Talladega Superspeedway. 9 lead changes so far. Stay with us. Welcome back to Talladega, where the lead changes continue here. 23 of 117 laps complete. And now they are single file, and as soon as we say that, Earnhardt pulls out.
Yeah, they don't want to wait much. I tell you the honest truth, if you can stay in the lead, the car runs cooler. It's a lot easier to run in front than it is back in the pack.
It's hard to run behind. If you got a fast car, it's hard to run behind somebody because the thing is, you got to let out the throttle to stay behind him. When you let out the throttle, you get past.
Here comes Sterling Marlin right down on the bottom. Tri-oval. Down in that Ronnie Bouchard groove.
Yeah, that won't stick, though.
Sorry, Darrell. 1981. Yep.
They always point out the ones you get beat at.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I didn't remember a lap car. It wasn't a lap car. I was so busy trying to put Terry in the wall to win the race. Down there.
Chad Little in second. Derek Cope is third. Randy LaJoie is the first of the Busch regulars. He's fourth. Terry Labonte is fifth.
Mike, that lead car was probably running close to 220 degrees on water temperature. And now that he's out front, it'll drop back to like 195 degrees. That really helps that motor. I always felt like if he's going to win this race, you had to lead a certain percentage of it, not wait till the last lap to try to lead the lap.
Yeah, I agree with that. These engines, particularly with a restrictor plate, are very high compression. The compression can be as high as 18. Bunch of heat, and they need some air to keep it cool.
Derek Cope, he's moved in the second here. He's trying Earnhardt on the inside, going into turn 3 with Randy LaJoie right with him. He should make this pass.
You know, it just appears that anybody can lead right now. Just get a little momentum going, get a little run going, a little draft, and you can shoot right back into the lead.
Dale Earnhardt. Racing here is kind of like, well, having a good relationship. Don't you need a good drafting partner if you're going to run here?
Well, you have, and Michael and I and several, Schrader, all of us, we draft good together, work good together, but still it comes down to it. And you've won more than they have, and they don't want you to win. They're going to work with somebody else. It's interesting to see the last couple laps of who's with you or who's not.
Don't have many friends out there when you get that situation, do you?
Well, they'll work with you up to about 10 laps to go, and then you forget them.
Yeah, well,
even people in your family will try to beat you then.
Yeah, and then I think they'll hit it right on the head. It depends on how many you've won. You know, if you've won a lot here, well, they're going to try to work against you because they know you can win.
I can see Randy LaJoie trying to go into the lead for the first time today, but he made a crucial error there. He made that move and didn't get by. Now he's going to go back because the outside line is really moving along.
Jason Keller trying to come up and help LaJoie. He's up to 8th place. But look at that bottom line now, gets shuffled back. Keller made it all the way to 4th in that blue, or the white car on the bottom. The top lane took over.
The sleeper in this race right now is the 14 car of Terry Labonte. He just moves at will. I watched him pass cars without any help. He seems to be the only race car on the racetrack that does not need a drafting partner to pass somebody.
What do you think
Yeah, I agree with Buddy Terry. We got a strong car. But the interesting thing is the cars that were laid back, not too far behind this lead pack, is caught back up because of all the racing that's going on. You look back in there now, and you'll see another group of cars catching back up. We'll have another 15-car draft here in a minute.
I'd like to take back that last statement. I think Jeff Purvis looks like a jet coming around the outside there.
Yeah, it's just too early to tell, buddy. Everybody's playing right now and trying each other out, and it's not time to show your hand yet.
Kind of like me, I always held back.
You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold. And you don't count your money.
Thank you, Kenny.
There we go.
Later today on TNN. All right, Chad Little tries it one more time on the inside of the 23. Bayer Select Ford. There's Ernie Irvin with a look at him. He runs alongside Lavani.
The thing that this group has figured out, all of them in this group, 20 of them, is nobody's going anywhere. I can do what I want to do. I can pass at will because nobody's going anywhere. This is the group that's going to run this race, and so everybody's real comfortable making it.
Shepard up there, and they're 3 wide again around Michael Waltrip getting lapped. Or rather, that's Bobby Dotter moving up on the inside. Look at Earnhardt on the bottom and Purvis with him.
Well, Purvis has got a great race car. If he gets with Dale Earnhardt, I think he may, I don't know though. Look at Randy LaJoy on the outside. I'm going to quit speculating on who's strong. They're all faster. They wouldn't be a Purvis.
That's it. You really can't tip. The draft is, it just depends on where you are, how much help you get.
This is the second time in 3 laps Chad Little's going all the way down to the bottom and all by himself.
Now that's a good sign. When you can run the bottom by yourself and pass people, that's a good sign.
See Purvis there in the middle again, just where Darrell said you do not want to be when people are drafting right now. He'll start going back to his pack because he's got nobody behind him.
And you can't get in line, see, nobody will help you. You say, oh yeah.
Oh, he's in line.
Well, he's not in any line.
Not in anybody else's line.
That's right. Might help him out a little bit if they spread out up here in the front like look like they're going to do.
Average speed 188.4 miles an hour.
That's pretty quick. That's getting the job done. 6-cylinder cars with restrictor plates.
Chad Little on the inside there. Jason Keller's moved up right behind him. Jason's come from way back in the field now to make a charge towards the front.
Darrell, what did it feel like the first time that you ran really well here at Talladega?
Oh, I tell you what, it was exciting. Buddy was one of the people I raced with a lot that day. Drafted with him all day long. And it was exciting to be able to run good at this great big old racetrack, which is so intimidating.
Yeah, I went up after the race and I said, boy, where'd you learn to draft like that? And he said, well, they just told me to hang on and try to get in when I could and make sure nobody didn't pass me in certain places. And I said, we learned pretty fast, I'll tell you that.
All right, it's Earnhardt, LaJoy, Chad Little, and Derek Cope. We asked Randy LaJoy, what are the key elements for a car to have a real good run here at Talladega?
At one of these places, you got to have a good aero body and a pretty good motor. Right now, I think we got both, and I might be lacking a little bit on experience, but I'll give it all my heart that I got, and we'll see what happens.
He's got a lot of heart, and it looks like today he's got a lot of car.
Yeah, we saw that car, I guess one of the first races he drove in that car here about a year or so ago, and I was totally impressed. I couldn't believe how he jumped in that car, and did he win the race, or did he run second?
He run second.
Run second, an incredible ride.
Chad Little still on the bottom. Derek Cope in the white car with him. The car carries 82. It's a reversal of the numbers Davey Allison carried for that team, 28.
Well, that car, Chad Little, is really strong. He's not quite fast enough to get the edge there on Earnhardt on the outside there, so he had to hold it down low.
If he could go down that back straightaway and stay even with Earnhardt with those other cars behind Earnhardt, that would be really strong.
You know what seems to differentiate this from racing for the Sunday money is this isn't Ford against Chevrolet. It's anybody with anybody they can get with. You don't see a lot of that, brand loyalty racing. Not so far.
But you don't really hear about that until the race is over with anyway.
Right. I think you're right. Here at Talladega, 32 laps complete. You're watching Busch Racing live on TNN. We'll be right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
At the world's fastest superspeedway, 3 cars are trying to break out from the field. It's Ernie Irvin up front, Chad Little, and Derek Cope.
And there's your 3 Fords, Mike.
Yeah. They never line up, you know, one manufacturer against another, do they?
Yeah.
Let's show you what happened, how this came into play. Earnhardt was leading when we went to break.
Yeah, he had the lead here, but Ernie Irvin was coming up on the inside, and Randy LaJoy saw him coming. He said, I'll jump down here in front of Ernie and we'll go by. Dale, they did, and of course they pulled that whole inside lane right past Earnhardt. But then they got down here in the turn, they got real excited. They got about 4 wide down there.
So it sorts out for the moment with Irvin leading Chad Little, Derek Cope, Dale Earnhardt battling along there with LaJoy.
Now that's 2 good ones to battle side by side.
They don't need to do that very long.
No,
though.
they don't.
They'll lose a lot of times with these cars running side by side.
One of them will. The one that's out of line. And right now, that's that Phenaloop car, Randy LaJoy, Chevrolet. There's Schrader coming up with Terry Labonte and Earnhardt. And there's 3 Chevys that could hook up and go, and Mike McLaughlin is with them, and Jeff Purvis. A couple of minutes ago, let's show you what happened to Dale Earnhardt while we were away. Left side of the screen.
Oh, he almost got, little, that was casual contact that almost ended up in a big wreck right there. They barely touched coming off the corner, but these speeds, the car just turned up. You see them just turn hard left coming off the corner.
They will run back up there sooner or later.
Now, you've seen races where somebody will have a 2-second lead. 2 seconds is the distance from first to 20th place right now.
Yeah, this is incredible racing. I mean, it's hard to explain if you're not if you're a race fan. I'm a race driver. It's hard to explain how we do that.
Trouble on Randy LaJoy, left side. Glenn is there. Glenn?
Well, Mike, he's got some damage to the left side of the car where he got into somebody there. So they have changed the left side tires. Evidently, they thought that the left rear was going down. They're putting fuel in it. I'm not sure what lap are we on. It could be oh, I see now. Yeah, they've got a fender in on that tire. That's the problem. There is a fender in on the left side tire. He had to come in and get that change. You do not want a tire to blow out here. Now they're holding him because he came down pit road too fast.
Oh, he got into Earnhardt.
Yes, he did.
Incident we just saw. Let's check with Randy.
Well, guys, a significant problem on Kenny Schrader's car. In the cowl area, in between the hood and the windshield, that's where the air is taken into the air filter there. Well, he's had a piece of the hood fly off the car. A little bit of an aftermarket place. Bottom line is NASCAR is asking them to replace it. They want to do it under caution. NASCAR saying you have to do it on the very first pit stop. They're afraid they're going to lose a lap, so a significant problem for Schrader.
Schrader's number 52, the AC Delco Chevy, and right behind him, McLaughlin in 34, and Chad Little.
NASCAR is very sensitive about the air intake of these engines. I mean, with the restrictor plate, it just takes something like that to alter the flow into the engine, make you have an advantage.
Derek Cope trying to wrestle the lead away here coming off turn 4. I don't think Ernie's going to let him have it, though. See, they're going off that corner there, and right behind them, Dale Earnhardt, and they're just going right on by. They haven't made that move now.
No. Randy LaJoy back in the race. Kenny Wallace is on pit road, the number 5 man of the Busch Series points. Making an early pit stop here. 40 laps complete of 117.
Well, the cars now start to go through a little bit of a transition. They'll go from maybe a little tight to just a little bit loose, getting a little tire wear, fuel burning off. The car will go through just a little bit change, and the driver has to be aware of that so that that tight racing they've been doing, he won't get himself in trouble.
Here comes Purvis, country time number 51. And Sterling Marlin's going to go with him. They split. Derek Cope goes back.
Look at Jeff Purvis there moving on the inside of Irvin, trying to take the number 1 spot away. Just behind him is Sterling Marlin, Earnhardt on the outside.
You know, Purvis was on the pole by
caution.
2 or 3 tenths.
Harold Yellow's waving. And there's the reason why.
Looks like Jason Keller might have had engine trouble. He was having a great run.
First caution of the day. Comes out at lap 41.
Ooh. And I tell you what, when you're right behind him, you get a windshield full of oil when that happens.
That was all of a sudden.
It looks pretty terminal there.
Yeah, I don't think they're raising the hood, just check the oil, tell you the truth.
too bad. He's had a good run all day. He moved himself into the top 10 and is running quite well.
He got his highest score.
Good break for Randy LaJoy. He made that stop, and I don't think he went a lap down.
All right, I'm not sure if Kenny Wallace was lapped on pit road or not. Scoring is showing yes, he was.
That LaJoy was too, I guess.
Field comes around under caution. We'll see if pit road will be open this time.
Bad break for Randy LaJoy because the other man had to pit under green, and that would have been an equalizer for him. So it turned out to be a bad break.
Most of the leaders are staying out. I believe pit road is still closed until next time around, and the safety car picks up the field. We'll be back to cover pit stops after this. Pit stops under caution here at Talladega as you watch Ernie Irvin in the upper left and Jeff Purvis in the lower left, and everybody else trying to fight for a pit stall, and there's one car there getting blocked in.
They're parallel. I don't know. They can't get in their pit stall. Earnhardt, is that Earnhardt? No, that's the 99 car. He's turned sideways in his pit. What happened was they put a lot of stay dry down for Keller's blown engine into the pit there, and I think it's really confused matters.
Well, it's going to be Sterling Marlin coming out first, and then Purvis, followed by Earnhardt, Dale Jarrett, Terry Labonte, and Mike McLaughlin. Here's Randy.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're having an awful time getting this piece attached to Kenny Schrader's car. You know, they measured it and they wanted to get it right, but if this thing is off by 1/8 of an inch, it could really hurt Schrader's performance on the racetrack. Obviously, he's going to go out last car on the lead lap right now, but they're having a difficult time, but they probably won't lose a lap.
NASCAR limits the amount of square-inch area that air can enter there at the base of the windshield, at the cowl, to get into the carburetor. So we'll be right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K on TNN is brought to you by Split Fire, the patented performance spark plug. It only costs more till you use it.
Under this caution period, 29 cars are on the lead lap here at Talladega. One lap down, Kevin LePage, Randy LaJoy, Bobby Dotter, Johnny Rumley, and Kenny Wallace. Tommy Houston is 2 laps back. Jason Keller appears to be, he is 3 laps down and out of the race. Jim Bound is 7 laps back. Rodney Combs 10 laps in rears, and Johnny Benson is 30 laps down after dropping a cylinder. In the garage, Bobby Labonte, Michael Waltrip, Rich Bickle, and Mark Martin. Should ride with Mike Garvey in the first uniform Chevy. And it looks like we're going to be a lap or two before we go back to green. Apparently Keller put down quite a bit of fluid there at the entrance of turn 3 when that car let go. A hole in the oil pan was the report.
Well, what they want to do, they want to make sure they blow all that away, because sometimes that stay dry is just as slick as oil.
Let's go to pit road. Here's Randy.
Well, Jason Keller is one of the young Lions running for rookie status in this division here, the Busch Grand National Series. And there are several others that are in a tight battle for this championship. Let's take a look at who they are.
Last Saturday at South Boston, Dennis Setzer became the first rookie to win a Busch Series race in 1994, taking the checkers in the Ford Credit 300. After a little celebration for the crowd, the points leader talked with Glenn Jarrett in Victory Lane.
You knew you were coming into a good car. You knew you were a rookie. You had a lot to learn, but did you think you could win in the first year?
Well, I told him I could, so I sure hope I could.
Currently second in the rookie points is 1993 ASA champ Johnny Benson Jr. He compares his Busch Grand National battle with Setzer to his own rookie year in ASA.
Dennis has done a great job all year, and, you know, I hope to think we have too, but, you know, it's just one of them situations in ASA when I ran for rookie. Me and Rich Bickle battled all the way to the end, so, you know, hopefully for the fans, it'll be a good battle throughout the year.
Third in the rookie points battle is Randy Porter, driving the 35 Millicron car. His best 94 finish, a third place showing in Atlanta. Just behind him in fourth is Kevin LePage. His best so far this season, a 9th at Loudon, New Hampshire. Rounding out the top 5 in the rookie points is Stevie Reeves, another strong young driver to soon challenge for more than just the rookie points title.
Thanks for that update, Randy. We're getting ready to go back to green. You see Mike Wallace there in that pack. Coming off big win up at Milwaukee. There's Dennis Setzer, who just won on the series in South Boston, Virginia. We go back to his home track next Sunday here on TNN, Hickory, North Carolina. Sterling Marlin leads Jeff Purvis, Dale Earnhardt, Dale Jarrett, and Terry Labonte. As we get set for the restart, let's check with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, there's some concern down here in Jeff Purvis's pits. There has been a rag left up under the engine compartment somewhere when the race started. It has now worked its way up into the cowl area where the air is inducted into the engine. it is disrupting the airflow into the engine. They're a little concerned. The car seems to be running okay, but the thing could conceivably stop up the airflow into the engine. They're not real happy with one of the guys down here, but they haven't said who it was yet and don't know that they will, but they're going to keep an eye on the problem.
Now, that's an interesting story. That's almost like faking a pit stop. You know what I mean? It's the same crowd, you know.
Yeah, right.
From last week at the Pocono.
That's it, where Purvis won the ARCA race there at Pocono. Sterling Marlin at the front of the pack, 6 through 10. Mike McLaughlin, Derek Cope, Ernie Irvin, Harry Gann is up to 9th, and Larry Pearson 10th, ahead of Ricky Craven, Mike Wallace, Dennis Setzer, Chad Little, and David Green. That's the top 15. As we go back to green, 29 cars on the lead lap. Ken Schrader is the last of those.
Whatever Purvis is having a problem with, the rest of them better hopefully get the same thing, because he stayed up near the front all day. There's Earnhardt moving right up behind him there, but I don't see anything wrong with Purvis' car at all. If that rag's doing anything, it's not hurting.
I don't see that either.
Darrell, on a 2-wide restart with lap cars, is this a good chance for the front pack to hook up and break away?
Well, it could be, but I think what we're going to see here is back to that original start of racing that we had, where they're going to be 3 and 4 wide again.
Jarrett, the car, the 2-wheel Chevy way up high, tacks on to Randy LaJoy. Harry Gann in the green car, Manheim auction Chevy.
Boy, Harry pulled himself up. He was about a half lap down before they called him.
Up into the top 10 comes Gann. Chad Little down to the bottom again, by himself again.
Boy, Gantt needs to get by LaJoy there and get himself up in line with these cars that are running for the lead. I think Gantt has the race cars capable of running with them. As long as they run side by side, they won't be any front cars.
Yeah, Randy LaJoy, I mean, he's trying to get a lap back, you know, down to the lap there. Problem he had, and so he's going to be the wild card in all this.
You see Harry there in the middle of the... You remember this, Mark, Darrell. You don't want to get in that middle lane. Ooh, Rodney Combs very close to Harry Gantt coming up through there.
Is that the Rodney's show car? It's the one with one sponsor. French is on one side and Black Flag on the other. That's how they did the show car. They said each race car was going to carry one or the other, but I think that may be the show car.
Well, it's by far a better looking car when they have one color or the other.
Right.
Yeah, there's Purvis with the rag in the air cleaner there, running second and pulling away from Dale Earnhardt. I don't see a lot wrong with it. Oh, it's blown out, I understand. I just got a report that it has blown away, so he's back in the fight here. He wasn't too bad off.
I don't know how they ever figured out I had a rag in the first place.
Here comes Derek Cope on the outside.
That's Ernie Irvin we're riding with there. He's up beside Derek Cope right there. Got a lot of help on the inside. If you can keep that car in front of you, see Earnhardt on the bottom there. If Earnhardt don't move up, he's got a lot of people to draft with.
All right, now look down at Irvin's windshield. You see that slot? That's the cowl opening where the engine gets its air. They said that Jeff Purvis could see a bit of that rag flapping from the cowl opening, and then finally it blew away.
Boy, Chad Little's car is absolutely a rocket ship. He just went to the bottom and just went right up to second place there.
Yeah, and it seemed to be a little bit better on fresh tires too, buddy, because he was doing that early in the race.
Riding with Ernie Irvin, Derek Cope to the left of your screen, Terry Labonte pulling up in a tight draft. Chad Little was 11th 1 lap ago.
See Mike Wallace there getting by Earnhardt. Earnhardt's in that middle lane. You don't usually see him get in that predicament right there, but he's in trouble right now until he gets somebody to help him a little bit.
He's got his blinker on right now, but it just nobody let him in.
Well, as we said that, he moved over into the lower lane there, so he's back in line. He'll move right on back up again.
Back across the stripe. 20 cars in this lead draft.
Mike, one thing you have to hope right here is that somebody does not make the mistake of hooking the car up towards the front there, because every car from second place back would be involved. If one car crosses up, everybody's pushed along to the right again.
We've seen that happen here a couple of times, and it's not a pretty sight.
Is this a case of how long can you hold the breath?
It basically is. I mean, I know we're talking about how easy it looks and how good the cars look, but this is nerve-wracking.
Somebody asked me one time, I said, it's like having a tooth filled. You have the Novocaine, but it still aggravates you all day long.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Look at Terry Labonte drop to the bottom, and here's Earnhardt right before Shepard. And Gant on the outside. Dale Jarrett, 32. And yellow car on the outside of Earnhardt. Now, not all these cars are on the lead lap. LaJoie, for example, is 1 lap down. Most of the rest of that pack, though, are contending for the lead. We are 51 laps complete as Morgan Shepherd makes his move on Dale Earnhardt. Up front, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Purvis in second. We'll be right back.
There, Sterling Marlin right on his back bumper.
Now, Darrell, in a case like that, how much help can the spotters be? They're a mile away from where you are on the track.
Good point, Mike. They're down here. They're looking straight at the car. They're not looking at the side, not looking down across the racetrack. They're looking back up the racetrack, and it's hard for a spotter to tell when you're clear.
That was the toughest thing I ever had when I had a driver driving for me. I was a spotter, and he said, "Can I move over now?" And I said, "You ought to know better than I can." You know?
All right, here's Marlin for the lead. Derek Coates. Coates understands there was an audio problem along the way there. I think it's all cleaned up. That was Marlin taking the Chevrolet to the front and Earnhardt with him. We're with Ricky Craven in the midst of that pack, and he's got something on his windshield.
Yeah, that's a little bit of oil and a little glare off everything around it. He's running quite well. Ricky's getting a lot of experience right now. As all the Busch Grand National drivers are. You notice the Winston Cup drivers pretty much up front, but they're gaining a lot of experience here. And if you beat an Earnhardt or people like that, you really feel good about yourself.
Yeah, you do. And, of course, Ricky is in the point battle here. He's second place and just a few points out of first, and he's having a good run.
Well, it's about seventh. He's going to lose a spot or two as Earnhardt battles Derek Cope. Up there, Barry Owens' car, the FDP brake Chevy.
I think Mike Wallace might be just on the verge of being really, really good in this sport because he's winning on the Busch Grand National Circuit now, and you see him moving in here. He has a lot of patience, a lot of car control. This boy's going to be heard from, I guarantee you.
Something happened to Derek Cope, but he just slid up the racetrack, and now Purvis has to crank it hard left as he gets 3 wide coming in the tri-oval here with Schrader. And Cope looks like Cope is drifting back just a little bit.
Well, you never know.
Well, I can see right there, they're bumping just a little bit there. That's kind of how do you do. I'm not going to give any to you. You see how close they're running there. They're just about to become a little too friendly, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's getting out of control. Whoa! That's right on the verge of getting out of control. It's one thing to do it once. It's something else to do it twice. But something that's really when you do it 4 wide. This is hard to watch.
Folks, do not try this at home.
No, do not try this at home.
This is at 190 miles an hour.
You cannot get this many cars in the driveway at once.
These cars are running faster under green in a pack than the pole speed.
Yeah, they are. They average much faster than they qualify.
See Ricky Craven's car there. One thing he's really smart at, he sets his car up. You never see him out of control. The car always works well. And that's what's going to take him to stardom as far as the Winston Cup ride when he finally moves up.
No, he's a smart young man.
58 laps complete here as Mike Wallace makes a move down on the low side, and 6 cars try and break away from the field.
Today's exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K on TNN is brought to you by Allied Signals FRAM Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later.
Welcome back to Talladega. We're just past halfway. I'm Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Randy Pemberton. That 6-car breakaway has gone away. As you can see, the pack is all back together once again. Marlin the leader, Earnhardt in second, Morgan Shepherd in third, and Jim Bound with the cars in the garage area. Here's your Stanley mid-race report, brought to you by Stanley Works in New Britain, Connecticut for 150 years. Stanley's been making tools and specialty hardware. 9 leaders, 19 lead changes. 9 leaders is a record for this race. They had 24 lead changes last year. That's the record. 5 cars out of the race, and only 1 caution for 5 laps. We may break the record speed for 500 kilometers here, set by Ernie Irvin in 1992 at 158 miles an hour.
Well, Mike, this is hard work. Not very many cautions, and the mental stress is a big thing because they run so close together. And the cars are moving around the way they do, and you've got to pay such close attention constantly. It's hard work mentally.
Looks like Jeff Purvis up there in that outer lane is kind of determining the flow of this race at the moment because the cars on the bottom lane are moving up and trying to get up with those leaders. And the top lane right now is a little tough sledding.
Yeah, if you get in the, it's the same old deal. If you get in the wrong line here, you go back. You get in the right when you go forward.
Buddy, look at the back there of Jeff Purvis's car. That thing looks like it's really dancing now.
Yeah, I was watching him. He's working pretty hard. This race car is a little bit on the loose side, and he's really having to fight that thing to keep the back end straight on it.
Yeah, he and Chad Little got, they kind of banged into each other earlier, and when they did, I think that's because Purvis's car is just getting loose. Been out there a while on those tires.
Let's show you this a little bit earlier. Look at the top of the screen.
Whoa, I'm going to tell you what. That was a wreck. Nobody just didn't hit anything.
If that had been one of those 3-wide situations or somebody had been chucked right on Purvis's back bumper, we would be cleaning up a big mess.
The car he had the trouble with there is Derek Cope, and he has now worked himself up into fourth place.
Now here's Larry Pearson in 92, the Stanley Tool Chevy. Underneath Tracy Leslie, the Detroit Casket car for 72.
Just a minute ago, Pearson was up there fighting for the lead, he and Mike Wallace. That's how quickly you can get in the wrong line and go from second or third to the lead to 15.
Strong pack of cars here. And back up with the leader. Sterling Marlin way up on the high side of Kodak Chevy.
Yeah, he's a little bit out of, he's trying to get himself worked back in where he can fall in line here and pick up the draft again and go right on. What you want to do is always keep yourself, when I race here, always try to stay in the top 5. If you can do that, you're always in contention to win the race.
And the other thing, Mike, the spotter probably told him, all right, there's an opening behind whoever was in that group of cars, behind the 82 car. So he went high, when the 82 car got beside him, he knew he could fall down in behind the 82 car. So he gave everybody a chance to get by, didn't lose any momentum, and didn't lose any spots.
No, but look behind that front 5, the rest of this top 10. Really shuffling it up here, back to, top 10, top 20.
I think it's top 30.
See Chad Little there, just in that 23 car, he's taking Jeff Purvis, and they're really catching the leaders like almost a second a lap. They should be right in the fight again, and no time flat. I think Purvis may have one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, but he gets himself in position every once in a while and gets him in trouble.
Well, the low spoiler angle, if you happen to go in the corner with a car just on your flank there, on your outside, it can suck that back end around, and that's about what happened to him going into turn 3 over there. These cars do have 45 degrees of spoiler on minimum, but that's not very much in a pack of cars.
Now here's the front pack, and you see how they have gone single file, and if you look a little further back at the rest of this group, there's a lot of double file racing, and that's not going to help those cars. The leaders may have a chance here to get away. Morgan Shepherd underneath Dale Earnhardt at the front.
Well, Morgan's got a lot of help there. Dale Earnhardt's on the outside, but you see Derek Cope right there on his back bumper. They ought to be able to get by Earnhardt and move up on the racetrack and counter that move.
Morgan is the 10th different leader in this race.
Now that's 2 Fords right there in front of 3 Chevrolet, so you think that we'll see if there's any brand loyalty here or any brand rivalry here when the three Chevrolets duck back out to see if they go by them.
Daryl, you've run enough race cars to know that there's just a dash and roll cage in a race car. You don't care what emblem it is when it's going for the lead.
I don't know, buddy. Nowadays, with the incentives that some of the manufacturers have to win races, you remember who's in what.
Morgan Shepherd, the Cheerwine Ford, last won a Busch race in 1988 at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Dale Jarrett is on pit road. We'll stop left there. Check back in a minute.
Yeah, he went a lap down. Of course, he was running in the front in the early going, but we haven't heard much from him lately.
Dennis Setzer is taking his car to the garage. At Talladega, 67 laps are complete of 117 they'll run today. Morgan Shepherd and Dale Earnhardt up front. Welcome back to Talladega. Tomorrow is the last episode of Winners for 1994 for this season, the last new episode, and it's a very special tribute show. You won't want to miss it. Neil Bonnet's Winners. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., repeated at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you can't be here to watch it, set your VCR. It'll be a very special show.
You know, we're far enough into this race now that everybody's starting to think a little bit of a strategy here. I don't think they got to pit again. They pitted it halfway. They may have to make a quick gas and go, but right now everybody's starting to think strategy. Who am I going to dance with?
Let's check with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, Dale's second time in under the green flag after that last caution. When he restarted, the car ran fine for a few laps, then started cutting out. They thought there was a fuel pickup problem, maybe some trash in the line had gotten in the fuel filter. They came in a while ago, they checked the fuel filter in the pickup, it was fine. Now they've worked with the carburetor, the car's running now. They still don't know what caused it. When he gets up to speed, the thing just starts cutting out. He's heading back out there.
Thanks, Glenn. 27 cars are now on the lead lap. Steve Grissom, the last of those, he and Dave Resendez.
Car moving very slow around the bottom of turn 4 there. Hope he makes it back to the pit.
Let's check with Randy.
Well, the guys, they will have to pit again as far as we know down here. Derek Cope has been in communication with his pit crew. They say they will start lap 96. And there have been a couple of other teams as well. Kenny pit around lap 90. So they'll have to make one more pit stop, I think.
Thanks, Randy.
That could be real crucial. You know, that's going to separate the field a little bit. Some of these guys got good pit crews, some of them not so good. Of course, the Winston Cup guys should have some advantage there.
Sterling Marlin edges ahead. Here comes Earnhardt and Larry Pearson and Mike Wallace, all Chevrolets, up against Morgan Shepherd's Ford on the outside.
Morgan's not giving up anything there. He's right on the outside of Earnhardt. He's trying to hold that spot. He does not want to get behind about 8 or 10 cars and have to work his way all the way back up the front again.
But we need to give a call to Pearson. There he is back up there again, and there's Mike Wallace, and we were talking about Busch regulars, and there they are right there at the front right now. You got a whole line of them with Ricky Craven and Mike Wallace and Larry Pearson. They're all doing a real good job of staying right there near the front.
Larry Pearson, they're running in the top 5. Was asked, how do you adjust your driving strategy to run here at Talladega?
You can't be aggressive. I mean, as far as getting up beside somebody and rubbing fenders and things like that, you can't do that here because, you know, the slightest touch can send somebody around and, you know, it can hurt them pretty bad here, and you really don't want to do that. But, you know, that's the way it's always been at Talladega and Daytona, and I assume that's the way it always will be.
Thoughts of Larry Pearson as he drafts off Earnhardt and Sterling Marlin.
Sounds just like his father then. That was his father. You'd race him all day long and say, I hadn't seen old Dave for 20, 30 laps, and all of a sudden you look up in front of you, there you'd be.
Yeah, one of the greatest.
Single file, the draft goes right now for about 8 places and on back. Should get up pretty well. There's Purvis on the bottom with Terry Lamont, Craven, and Morgan Shepherd. Kenny Schrader in that pack.
You know, Mike, that second group there is just as fast as the front bunch, but they go up, they take the lead, they get in the wrong lane, they go all the way back to 15th and 20th, and then they start climbing that ladder again, trying to get back up to the top.
Yeah, that's the difference in some of the Busch guys and maybe some of the Cup guys. The Busch guys have, they can't seem to stay at the front. The Cup guys can.
to the outside lane. I think Terry's got a very good race car. Mike Wallace moving up there on Pearson on the inside.
A little race right there in the front. Ernie wants to get all around Mike. He tried him down the back straightaway. And Mike's car is pretty strong because he's holding his own down on that inside by himself.
Still a good ways to go. 74 of 117 laps are complete.
He was holding his own.
Still a very tight pack here for the lead at Talladega. We'll be right back after this. At Talladega, the longest that anybody has led under green is 9 laps. Sterling Marlin did that. He's now led 6 in a row here under green. That's some pretty strong cars.
He does, Mike. You know, Mike, Earnhardt's kind of sneaky. We haven't mentioned his name very much, but he's been right there, second or third. He kind of loses himself in the crowd, so that when he gets ready to strike, you forgot where he was. Now, right now, I don't think he's where he wants to be, but that's kind of his strategy, looks to me like.
Yeah, I say his sneaky's starting to sneak away. He needs to get with a couple of people that are really going toward the front because he's running side by side. And as we said, Sterling Marlin is really strong, has a good car right behind him and Chad Little. So this thing can kind of get stretched out here. They don't want to run side by side too long.
How about Tracy Leslie there, just ahead of Purvis in the Detroit Gasket car, ran 6th in 1992, and 4th here last year after bumping Ernie Irvin. Here's Spill on the backstretch on the last lap. He was right up with the contenders. They round out a 4. 3 wide, and that's Leslie up on the outside of that group.
Irvin got by the 3 car of Dale Earnhardt right then. That car was absolutely sideways coming off turn 4.
Yeah,
I wish him well, but I don't like to see a car that loose on a major speedway.
He's definitely wheeling that thing.
Ernie Irvin is not content to let Marlin hold that lead. Joy in the 20 is a lap down. Everybody else here is racing for the lead.
Oof. That's up close and personal right there.
Hello.
Napa Field standing update. Napa, we keep America running. Show you how to run.
Dale's going to sit there, you watch him. That's right where he'll be for the next 20 laps, 30 laps, whatever.
Look at Schrader make a move to the inside there. He's trying to get by Pearson and on that 3 wide going through the dog leg there. He had to tuck back in with Pearson and try to get some kind of run made to try to get up to the front.
2 cars. Ricky Craven just shut off as he came past and goes down onto the track apron. Number 2 point man, 47 points out of first, is now coasting around the bottom of turn number 2.
Well, that thing had an ugly sound when he come by here.
Yeah, it sounded like it dropped the valve to me. It was really, it just rattled all at once. It dropped the valve.
Irvin, Earnhardt, Marlin, then Chad Little, and Tracy Leslie, Jeff Purvis, Morgan Shepherd, Larry Pearson, and to look back at Earnhardt. Pearson sight right there. And here's Craven. He's going to try to coast it back around to pit road.
Well, yeah, I think he's got enough speed to make it back, but that's a long ride. If there is something they can fix on that thing, he's way up in the points. I know he's going, oh, man, this is a long ride here.
Well, he just wanted to come here today and run the whole race and get some experience. He was doing a great job, and I know right now he's thinking about points. He's saying, let's see, how many points am I going to lose today?
John Munson is Ricky Craven's crew chief. Glenn's with him.
Look at Tracy Leslie.
Glenn?
Okay, John, the car shut off. What happened to it?
It seems that we've had some engine trouble. The car was running really good. He was doing a heck of a job in the draft. I mean, Ricky said he learned a lot, and we've got a lot of help from Jeff Gordon and a lot of good people. And it's a shame. We wanted to do real well here for DuPont and for everybody, and it just didn't work out.
2 weeks in a row, they've had bad luck.
Thanks, Glenn. 25th lead change of the day. New record. It's a record for this race, and it's Tracy Leslie out front.
Well, Tracy's just been phenomenal all day. His car is running well. I think he's probably the most underestimated race car driver of all time because he always gets up near the front on major speedways, has a good race car, no luck.
You'll 11th different leader of this race.
Had a good run here last year. Of course, he had a little problem over on the back, I guess, late in the race. But whoa, did you see Ernie and Schrader talking about a little problem?
Well, you're watching from Ernie. Where's Schrader? I think he's on the outside there with Terry Labonte.
That can happen very easily. A guy get that far on the outside of you, you just don't know he's there.
You see the lens on that camera, how dirty it is. You have the advantage with that camera to take that and put a fresh new piece of cellophane up there where you can see through the windshield. It's just like that lens is. Pretty hard to see sometimes.
Ernie, you noticed Ernie ran up and behind Larry Pearson there, and he had elected not to make it 3 wide going into turn 1 there, which was a good move on Ernie's part. Pearson was alongside of Earnhardt. He could have forced him right into it.
You're riding with Irvin. That's Schrader up along the outside, the AC Delco car.
I think Schrader's got a little tired of running back in the group there. He's starting to do some pretty wild things. He made it 3 wide and passed right up in the 4th lane a second ago to take his position and move up in the top 6.
Yeah, I believe somebody gave Schrader a wake-up call.
83 laps, 34 to go.
Now we see who's really strong, because you have Purvis as a pole setter on the outside there. He looks like he pushed you up a little bit there.
I think he backed up, buddy. He's loose. I think he just backed it up the hill.
Yeah. We know that Sterling Marlin's strong, but I guarantee you right behind him is Earnhardt. You have Morgan Shepherd, and that's Pearson just behind him. Pearson's been strong all day. He's dropped back to 10th one time, run back up to 4th. Very strong race car. Good effort.
Well, I think we might be seeing guys trying to get themselves in a position so that when somebody pits, they can all come at once. I think that's what we're trying to make it look at.
Report is that Derek Cope has dropped the cylinder, drifting back a bit after being up at the front of the leading part of this race. We'll be back with Busch Racing Live on TNN after this.
Transportation provided by Cedar Ridge RV Center, Branchville, New Jersey. Call 1-800-988-4884 and find out why Cedar Ridge is the choice of champions.
86 laps complete. Here comes the lead pack, and they keep shuffling it up here at the world's fastest speedway. Sterling Marlin, Dale Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd, Larry Pearson, Ernie Irvin, the top 5. Chad Little in 6th, Jeff Purvis in 7th, Kenny Schrader is there, Tracy Leslie, Terry Labonte, Joe Nemechek, Mike Wallace, Mike McLaughlin, Tim Fedewa, Herbie Sadler, Dale Fishline in his first ever Busch race, and Harry Gant. That's the pack.
Well, they're racing too, and I tell you, that 51 car down on the inside, he has got some horsepower.
He does that.
Of course, he got his hands full too.
Well, he'll check it out for tough right here underneath. That car is really loose. When you pass a car on the inside like that, it jerks back in around.
We need a hand cam on him.
But he's so fast, he didn't have to run side by side very long.
No, he's got a lot of straightaway speed, and that makes me think that car is running with the absolute minimum amount of speed. The way it moves around in traffic and as fast as it is, I believe that's what makes that car fast.
That, I believe, is a Runt Pittman engine in Purvis's car. They get a lot of their equipment from the Morgan McClure shop.
That's the other reason.
Yeah, right. Let's check with Randy.
Well, I'll tell you, a lap or two ago, Larry Pearson was running 4th up and down pit road. Crew chiefs are talking to crew chiefs. They're running 10 pits away, trying to find out when they're going to pit, who they're going to hook up with, so they can make sure that they get back out running in the draft. It's been unbelievable. Crew chiefs are just blowing by me on pit road, trying to figure out. There's also a slight problem on Kenny Schrader's car. He's losing fuel pressure, but it looks like we've got 3 cars pitting on like lap 92. The 14 car, Labonte, McLaughlin, and Pearson. They're electing it for lap 92 right now, but we'll see. That could change. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, Randy, down here in Sterling Marlin's pit, they're telling me somewhere around lap 95. All the guys I've talked to have said somewhere between lap 90 and 95. That's the window they need to finish the race on with only 1 can of fuel. If they have to stop on the green, they all only want to use 1 dump can. 90 to 95 is when they're going to have to do it. We should see them real soon.
Thanks, Glenn.
The car moved real slow down the back there. I'm not sure who it was, but
I believe that's Robert Presley.
Is it Robert?
He said he had drifted way back. Let's add to the cars out of the race. Tommy Houston, Randy Porter, Dale Jarrett, Jason Keller, and Ricky Craven are out of the show. 32 cars are running. 23 of those are on the lead lap. Derek Cope has dropped to the tail end of the lead lap. He has dropped the cylinder.
Darrell, Jeff Purvis there, you see that, well, as we said, that they looked like they were going to make a little contact with Earnhardt there, but Jeff Purvis is car. Watch him go down towards the number 1 corner. This race car is
Trouble,
so
Harry
fast.
Gant. Excuse me, buddy, Harry Gant. A lot of smoke from his number 7, and he cuts off the Mannheim Auctions car as he rolls down toward turn number 1. Way down to the bottom, here comes Purvis. He wants the lead from Sterling Marlin.
He's awful strong, but so is the 4 car on the outside. They'll probably run side by side down in the corner, and we'll find out which lane is the fastest when they get to the corner down there.
Earnhardt lined up with Purvis. And up top, Sterling Marlin with the man you're riding with, Ernie Irvan.
Boy, that 51 car is a loose car. That makes it fast. If he can hang on to that race car with it that loose, it doesn't bog the engine down, and he can go fast. He just drove her to the front, proving that it is a fast race car.
Back to complete lap 91. Fuel stops under green. Should begin next lap.
This is Ernie Irvan's car here. This is a great shot. This is what it looks like to a driver. When you go down in the corner here, you notice all that racetrack, they're only using like 2 or 3 lanes. They're never up in that 4th lane. So when you get up there, you normally are in trouble.
Jeff Purvis has just led his first official Busch Series lap. 17 starts.
See Derek Cope on the inside there. He's experiencing trouble now.
And you know, Purvis, he set on pole by better than 3/10 over Sterling Marlin. So that in itself proves that he has a very fast
I think the leaders
race.
are coming in as we speak right now. I see Purvis dropping off. You notice a lot of these guys are coming together.
They're grouping up. Here they go.
And Marlin will lead them in. He went past Purvis and Ernie Irvan. Quite a group of them coming in here. And there's Gant coasting in.
Now, Mike, that's not monkey see, monkey do. What they're trying to do is all the fast cars stop together, go back out in that wad where they can get away from all the other cars when they go back out of the pit. So,
yeah, even doing it this way, we got a problem with the 4 car. You know.
Here's Glenn.
Sterling Marlin brought it in, as I said, 1 can of fuel, and he's away. No tire changes, no adjustments, and Purvis beats him out.
They were putting lug nuts on the right rear of the 4 car.
Must have been a miscue as to whether or not they would change tires.
I bet it was.
That's probably what they did, just took the lugs off, expecting to change the right rear, and the guy said, no tire change, just fuel, and the guy had to run them back up.
Yeah.
Well, this crowd of cars has made a stop. We'll sort out who's leading and who's not just as soon as we come back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
Welcome back to Talladega. Here's your leader, Tim Fedewa, with a new sponsor on his car, Rust-Oleum Pure Strength Cleaner, is at the front of the field, and the man who's right behind him, what a story here, Dale Fishline. In that number 70 is Dave Marcus's Winston Cup crew chief. It's his first ever Busch Grand National race. He's only started 4 ARCA Superspeedway races, with 11th as his best finish, and he's running in 2nd place here.
Ernie Irvan's experienced some kind of trouble. He's slowing down the back straightaway.
Yeah, he came by here and he just dropped to the bottom of the racetrack, so I think he may have something wrong with the engine in the car.
And Morgan Shepherd has cut down a tire. There is Irvan coasting around. Mike Wallace goes past.
Mike, you know, these restrictor plate engines, when you come into the pit and out of the pit, they go through a cycle where they run lean. And if you make a pit stop and you don't get back up to speed just like you should, it'll burn a piston in one of these things.
So Irvan coasting around. Also, Elton Sawyer, the Ford Credit Ford, given a black flag, stop and go penalty for leaving the pits too fast under his green flag stop. Add Harry Gant out of the race. We've got 31 cars running. 16 of them now are on the lead lap. And it'll be 15 as soon as they overlap Irvan.
Well, it's shaping up here is like a 3-car shootout. You got the 51, the 3, and the 4, and there's another little group here that's trying to chase them down. I don't know if they're going to be able to or not, but I know those front 3 would like to see it that way.
Tim Fedewa leads this race. Realistically, can his team win here? Glenn Jarrett asked Tim yesterday.
Yeah, we can. I've been thinking about that for a long time, and I really think we can. You know, I know Talladega has been, I guess, a track for rookies before. I'm not a rookie, but I'm pretty new at it. So I think, you know, if like I say, patience is going to be the key, and I know we got a good enough car, and just see what happens.
Fedewa leads this race. He and Fishline, running 1-2, have yet to make their pit stop. Now, Jeff Purvis, of the cars that did make stops, Purvis climbing up there to third, according to the rundown we have. Earnhardt fourth, Marlin fifth, Schrader sixth, Nemechek, Pearson, Leslie, and Terry Labonte, the top 10. You're watching from Bobby Dotter's car, which is 3 laps down at the 2 leaders. How'd you like to be Dale Fishline right now? First ever Busch Series race, you're out there in second place.
I'd like that a lot. How old is he?
Mike, what that does when they get home, there'll be a lot of bench racing where he's telling them how he done that.
34 years old, the Schwartznut Chevrolet. I believe that is a Dave Marcus car. There he sits right behind Tim Fedewa, the fellow who's looking for his first ever win. As I told you a minute ago.
I've heard his name before. Where is he from?
Who's that?
Fishline.
Lives in Arden, North Carolina, but I believe he's from Wisconsin.
He's a racer from up in the Midwest, isn't he?
He's cruised for Marcus for quite a bit. Let's go back and find the pack that made pit stops earlier, racing along just like they were leaving this thing. And it was 4 of them all tied together, and now that pack is all closed back up.
Larry Pearson led about 4 or 5 of these guys from about a quarter of a mile back, and they have run the leaders down. You see Larry Pearson there on the inside, second place there. He absolutely is running super good, but he's in the middle of that line. That's not the place to be.
Morgan Shepherd of the 21 is a lap down among this group.
Oh, did he stop and change tires?
Cut a tire. Keep in mind, this pack is not leading this race. Running third on back.
It's like that old song, though. It's just a matter of time. When these other guys stop, that would be your race lead fight right there.
17 laps to go.
Surely no one goes all the way.
Well, I've seen you do it at Daytona.
Surely can't be done.
Of all people who would know for sure, Darrell Waltrip would be the man I'd ask.
That is right on the edge of being unrealistic.
You've been on that edge. This pack trails the 2 leaders now by 28 seconds. Tim Fedewa at the front, Dale Fishline in second. They last pitted at lap 42.
I'd say it's time for some high test.
Caution is out, and that will be quite a break for Fedewa and Fishline. There is debris in the back straightaway, so they will get to make a pit stop with the leaders and should be with the lead pack when they come back out.
It's good for them and it's not good for them. The other guys may not stop. They may stay out if they can go the rest of the way. And these guys will find themselves at the tail end of all the cars that have stopped. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
But to get a moment in the sun and lead a bunch of laps at Talladega.
Buddy, that's the way I do it.
Good luck.
You got it. Whatever you got going for you, that on any particular day, if it's fuel mileage, you got to use it.
Now, Steve Grissom there was trying to get within a lap of the leader, although he will pit. He has just gone 2 laps down to Tim Fedewa. Bobby Dotter is 3 laps down. See if pit road is open as they come by, or if they'll have to come around again. 101 laps complete, and we have 16 to go. These cars have been on the track for 59 laps, and they'll have to make one more circuit before they're able to pit. We'll be right back. It was the best of days for Tim Fedewa, but caution has come out on the back straightaway for a tailpipe that we believe is off Tracy Leslie's car. And Fedewa, after he got down to caution flag speed and went into turn 1, appears to have run out of fuel.
Yeah.
He's trying to make it back around to the pits, but I believe he'll be overlapped before he gets there.
Mike was talking just a second ago about Fedewa. Under speed, all the fuel would be over where the pickup is, but when he slowed down and went into the banks, I'm sure he lost all fuel pressure and the car just ran out of fuel.
Yeah, well, we're normally talking about gallons, and now we're talking about ounces, so not a lot of fuel to pick up, and he's motioning for him to push him in. Come on, guys, help me, please.
Darrell, that seems like it takes 4 hours for that thing to get out there. I've had that happen before.
Now, why wouldn't you use a pickup in both both sides of the fuel cell, left and right, like on a road course car.
Well, a lot of the cars do have it in the middle, Mike. They have a box in the middle with flapper doors, and that way it catches fuel when it's moving across the cell from either side. Very few cars nowadays have just a single pickup. They have a central pickup.
But if it was in the left rear, if they had a small pickup in the left rear, he wouldn't have done that. When the fuel went to the left side.
Fuel cell can hold 22 gallons. The key is getting it all to the carburetor. We'll be right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K on TNN is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR.
Well, Tim Fedewa had a lengthy pit stop. He had to be pushed in by the wrecker to get to his pit, and is now back out on the speedway after fuel. Let's go to Glenn to recap that stop.
Well, Mike, when he brought the car in, obviously it was coasting, not running of its own speed. They had to put some ether in it to fire it up. It took him 4 or 5 times to get the car started. They pushed him off. As you can see, they were pushing him out of the pits, trying to get the thing to fire up. The ether finally caused the thing to take to fire up. They pushed him out of the pit, but by the time he got to the end of pit road, the cars on the racetrack had already passed him by. NASCAR felt that they had passed him. He had lost a lap, so they had to stop him at the end of pit road. He did lose a lap. A lot of long faces down here, but boy, he had a great run going.
You saw the official there with the what we call a lollipop sign. It's a stop or go sign, and as cars come around and get lined up for the restart, which is going to happen in a lap. You'll see on the outside wall as Fedewa moves up here that there is a line on the outside wall that official at the end of pit road has to look at, and when the pace car gets to that line on the outside wall, he has to turn that stop sign. There's no judgment call involved. He has to turn it. And there's where he stands and would hold that car for the pack to come by, and that's what happened to Tim.
Darrell, you made a very interesting observation that Fedewa did not come in because the pit road was closed. Would you explain a little bit about that?
Well, of course, the deal is you don't come in the pit when the pit road is closed. But if you do, it's not that serious of a penalty. It's only go to the end of the longest line, which may be the lap down line or maybe the cars on the lead lap line. But for him, he could have come in, took the fuel, not lost the lap, went to the end of the longest line, and he'd be in great shape right now.
Take the penalty and still be on the lead lap. Let's check with Randy.
Notes down here. I'm getting ready to talk to my brother Ryan, who's Larry Pearson's crew chief. 52 team just handed us a note. Want to know if they can run with you. What's the story? They run better with you guys behind or in front?
We run pretty good with somebody toughed up right behind us, but it's really what partner you're with. We're looking for a good dancing partner right now, so we're trying to figure out who we're going to run with. We saw the 3-car, and those guys, they're really stout, so we don't know who we're going to work with yet.
You guys are conferring a lot about fuel, Ryan. You only got one can of fuel on that last stop. Can you guys make it all the way on that one can?
Yeah, we can make it all the way. We're just trying to be real conservative here, make sure we don't waste any gas. Okay, good luck. Thank you.
12 laps to go. The 11 when they come around for the restart. Point leader David Green is on the lead lap. He is 12th. Point standing runner-up Ricky Craven is in the garage. Hermie Sadler came in here 3rd in the points. He's running 10th right now. Bobby Dotter is in 24th, 2 laps down. He was the 4th place point man, and Kenny Wallace is 3 laps down in 26th. That completes the top 5 in points coming into this race. It's Sterling Marlin at the front, Jeff Purvis, Kenny Schrader, Dale Earnhardt, Larry Pearson, Tracy Leslie, Joe Nemechek, and Terry Labonte, the top 8. And Chad Little, Hermie Sadler, Mike McLaughlin, David Green, Mike Wallace, Dale Fishline, and at the tail end of the lead lap is the 79 of Dave Resendiz. He is on the tail end of the lead lap in 15th position as we get ready to restart.
Well, those guys really didn't give the leaders the courtesy that they deserved. Here late in the race particularly, they need to let those guys go.
Yeah, the guys that are racing for first place had to line up behind 2 lap cars there, and it really messed up the start here. Now everybody's trying to sort it out and get it back up in front where they belong as far as lead.
The 0 of Mike Garvey was also at the tail end of the lead lap, so they are lead lap cars. They were entitled to start there, but now Sterling Marlin has put them a lap down, and here comes the rest of the pack. It's a dogfight again.
Just behind Sterling there, it's Fedewa. I know he's wishing he was back in the lead lap again right now because he seems to have a very good race car. Earnhardt's going to do everything he can now to get up with Sterling.
3 wide as they come up through turns 3 and 4. Morgan Shepherd in that pack is 1 lap down.
Sterling will be a factor in the outcome of this race. I'm not sure where, but he's got a good car. He's led this thing more than anybody else, and he's going to be a factor in the outcome of this race.
10 laps to go as they come to start finish. Look at Schrader and Purvis trying to find some racing room, some clear room to get up with those leaders.
Okay, Mike, Darrell, no more friends. This is it.
Right.
It's all on the table now, guys. There will be no friends. Everybody makes a move now. It'll count.
I like what Pemberton said there in his interview. We're looking for someone to trying to decide who we're going to go with. I don't think so. It's you go with whoever will go with you or whoever looks like the best shot.
All right, we're going to take this race to the checkered flag when we come back to Talladega. 9.5 laps to go. We'll be right back. 8 laps to go as they round out of turn number 2. Sterling Marlin, Dale Earnhardt, the lap car of Morgan Shepherd and Randy LaJoie, leaving Marlin and Earnhardt a little bit of breathing room here.
Tracy Leslie just out of the frame there, just behind LaJoie. I know he's wishing he could get up there, but Darrell noticed he has a little bit of a problem with tailpipe on the car, and I don't think he has the power to get up there. But this car coming up there, Kenny Schrader, Purvis, these guys have a lot of race car. If they can get up there, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, well, the sad, not sad, everybody's racing for the best finish they can get. That's the name of the game. But when lap cars are a factor in the last 10 laps of a race, like they were on the restart, and now they're in the hunt here for the finish, it's frustrating to the drivers that are behind them, and they can't just pull over and let them go. But it's really frustrating.
See that graphic on the board. The highest placed Ford in this field right now is Chad Little in 8th place. Robert Presley down on the bottom. Here comes Little.
Well, I'm not sure that Chad Little don't have the fastest race car in the whole field, but he just cannot get in the position he needs to go up to the front.
He just don't have enough time, buddy. Right now, if things stay the way they are, it's going to be a shootout between Dale and Purvis.
I wonder, Darrell, if they keep leaving Chad Little at the bottom, he's really been able to rocket into turn 1 right down on the apron.
Well, he might be able to get some help, but right now it's just every man for himself, and it's hard to get anything going. You're protecting whatever position you're in.
Back to turn 1. 6 laps to go.
What he's decided to do right now is draft off the 20 car there, and I'm not sure that Chad Little, if he just gets any kind of break at all, he's got plenty of time in my opinion.
Little breaks out of line with Schrader. He spends the lap car of Randy LaJoie.
He's doing it the right way. I mean, he's showing a lot of patience. He's getting one car at a time, and buddy, you're probably right.
Well, you see, Schrader's right behind him. Schrader can buckle up here. He's got his faster car as Earnhardt. You see him go by the 21 car there, Morgan Shepherd.
Well, I'm glad they got the 20 car and the 21 car both used real good judgment, letting those guys go. They used their head and got out of the way when it didn't hurt anybody.
Right. 5 laps to go. Single file among the front 4.
That kind of pink-looking car there, running about 6th place. That's the pole setter, Jeff Purvis. And we know he has a lot of straightaway speed. If he get hooked up with Schrader or any of those guys, he has a car potentially that could win the race also.
Here comes Little again, back down on the bottom in the Bayer Select Ford.
But where's his help?
He doesn't need any.
I don't think he can get the job done like that.
That just cost him right there.
That ain't going to get the job done. All that's going to do is...
trouble right now.
If anybody, if Purvis would fall down there with him, I mean, then if they only knew what we knew. But
yeah, that's when you'd like to just get in there with him, help him just a little bit, because he needs to get in the climb. He's dropping back right now. He's all the way back to 4th, now 5th. You see him going back. Purvis is not going to let him in.
No, it's almost like every one of those cars in the top lane's got a bow tie on the front and back bumper. There's that one poor little blue oval Ford down on the bottom, and now it looks like Shepherd's going to help him. I don't know how much help that'll be now. He had one good shot and almost got there.
Yeah, you can't do it by yourself.
That's the in-car camera of Garvey there down the back straightaway. That gives you a good idea what that back straightaway looks like. It looks like a landing field when you go down through there. Then you run into the bank like the side of a building.
Right now, Sterling is thinking, I can get away from these guys. He can't. All he's doing is making it easier for them to pass him. The further away he gets from Dale right now, Dale will pass him because it gives him the momentum to slingshot by him.
You see Purvis moving up on the inside there, getting by Tracy Leslie to move up another spot. He's now in 4th.
All right, 3 laps to go. Who do you like?
I like them all, man. That's a nice part of being up here. They're all my friends. I pull for every one of them.
Well, I go with Dale. I mean, he's right where he needs to be. I told you all that he sits there in 2nd place, 3rd place.
Oh, he and Schrader get together.
You see Purvis going on the outside now.
Whoa.
Dale's in trouble there in the middle part of that race.
I don't go with Dale anymore.
Here comes Terry Labonte in 14 on the bottom, but it is Schrader who has made the move up to 2nd, right behind Sterling Marlin now.
I think I said earlier today, you can never count out the ice. 14 car Terry Labonte is as tough as they come.
Boy, how many more laps we got to go here?
2. Right about now. 2 laps to go.
Well, I don't know. I still... Earnhardt has a unique way of finding somebody that'll do something that'll help him. I don't know how he did it.
Give me the 2nd place car with a lap to go. I think that's the spot.
It's got it. Sterling should win it if things go forward.
Darryl, you won it for the last lap. I have to lead, but right now it's their position to try to get into. I think Schrader is going to get by though. There goes Terry Labonte with him. He makes a big opening there. You notice the 4 car dropping way back.
Something happened there. Sterling later shot by him on the bottom.
The draft does that. When 2 cars go by, it absolutely throws up the wall there. It's just like running into a water wall.
Schrader's in the front, and Labonte, ooh, look at Earnhardt, almost to the grass as Purvis works Sterling Marlin down the racetrack.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
Earnhardt was almost in the grass. White flag, last lap. Schrader and Labonte will slug it out for the lead. Look at this fight for 3rd. Earnhardt has it. Marlin wants 2-car breakaway by 5 car lengths.
It ain't over, boys. I'm telling you, these 2 guys in front are setting ducks.
Mike, if this was Daytona, it would make you move down the back straightaway, but the real place to make you move here is down the front straightaway because the start-finish line is almost going into turn 1.
Ray Pearson there battles Tracy Leslie, but up front.
See, Dale and Sterling are coming in a high. They're much quicker than the 2 cars in front. They're going to have a shot at them right here in the trial. And Dale,
there he is.
Somebody's going to have to block him or he's going to be right here.
Earnhardt pulling up on Labonte. Schrader takes it down. Labonte kind of pinned at the bottom, comes back up. Kenny Schrader's going to lead him. Here comes Earnhardt, and 3 abreast for 2nd. Give 2nd to Labonte. I believe Earnhardt is 3rd by inches, and Marlin 4th. Purvis 5th. Kenny Schrader gets his 2nd career win in the Busch Series and his 1st since September 1989 at Dover.
Man, they don't get no better than that.
It don't. That's a great finish, and you can tell, folks, we know all about what we're talking about.
Now, they were speculating at home right along with you.
Well, even I've been there, and I know it's kind of like you're never sure until you get to this part. Like Buddy said, the start-finish line is so far down here, it's hard to really know who's going to win this thing. I don't know who thought that up. They may say it was a sale ticket, but it's been a driver's nightmare. I've lost them by inches right there.
Yeah, if you win by car length here, it's a landslide.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yes.
There's a happy young man right there. He works hard. It's one of the hardest working guys I know. That's
Tim Cahoon?
Yeah.
Yep. Randy's with him.
I was with him, guys. They just gave a huge dose of Gatorade. This guy's a happy young man. He can't see anything. We're going to get him over here. Tim, congratulations. You had a heck of a race car. Kenny did a good job for you.
Yeah, I got to say thanks to AC Delco people, Ron Hunter for the motor. We went from worst to first. Everything went good. The boys did a good job. I just want to say hi to some of my friends in Chicago and Pennsylvania that were watching. I hope we put on a good show for you. It was a lot of fun on this end. All right.
Schrader the winner, Labonte 2nd, Earnhardt, Purvis, Marlin, unofficially the top 5. Hermie Sadler, Chad Little, Mike McLaughlin, Mike Wallace, Joe Nemechek. The top 10 unofficially. We'll be right back to meet the winner. Welcome back to Talladega. Kenny Schrader has won a stunner here at Talladega, taking the lead from Sterling Marlin with a lap to go. Running down to victory lane where Glenn Jarrett's setting up there to talk to Schrader. Maybe a brief ceremony as he's got to practice his Winston Cup car for the Die Hard 500 tomorrow. To victory lane. Glenn?
Well, thanks, Mike. I've been kidding this guy all year. In fact, for about 2 years now, when I was going to get to talk to him in victory lane again, you made you move early, and it paid off.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I don't know. It was just looked like it was time to go to me, so we went and had Terry behind me, and boy, I owe a lot to Terry because, you know, he hung with me, got me up there, didn't leave me hanging. He is my teammate.
Did you see the black car coming on the last lap?
Yeah, I saw the black car coming, but I knew Terry wanted the second, you know, just as bad as I wanted first, so he was going to do everything to hold him off.
I don't think there's anybody down here that wanted to win more than Ken Schrader.
Well, this is real nice, and we sure like it for AC Delco and Chevrolet and Budweiser and that. But we kind of got to get that race tomorrow. That's the biggie.
Okay, good luck to you, Ken. We're going to let him celebrate. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Terry Labonte with a good, strong run. He just let out an O. I think you wanted it, I know, but it was still a heck of an effort.
Well, you know, we were close all back. And, boy, right there at the end, I thought, man, that last restart, you know, we were sitting there 6th or 8th place and didn't know what we could get out of it or not. I figured we could have been 16th or 1st. And, you know, I got hooked up with Kenny, went up to 2nd and hung on for that. So, under MW win we'll try again next week.
Great run for Terry Labonte. He's got a couple of wins in this series, and it seems he is always strong when they go to the super speedways. 14 cars finished on the lead lap at Talladega today. Earnhardt was 3rd, and said it may be the last run for that car. It's going into the museum. Jeff Purvis for 4th, Sterling Marlin for 5th. We'll take you back through the field and talk to some more of the drivers when we come back to Talladega after this word.
For more information about Featherlight trailers, call 1-800-800-1230. Featherlight is the official trailer of NASCAR.
Jeff Purvis started this race from the pole and perhaps had the loosest race car of all today. You saw that car really dancing up at the banking, but he rewarded that run with a 5th place finish. Let's go down to Randy.
Mike, Joey, and the guys were commenting that your car was loose a little bit today. They enjoyed watching you run with it. You did a great job. Nice car and good finish for you, 5th place today.
Yeah, we really did have a good car. The Hoosier tires ran good all day, and you know, my crew got me in and out of the pit good and came up short. The car was a little bit loose, and you know, I was scared to tighten it up because it just wouldn't keep up. I didn't feel like, so we just ran it low.
Did you realize how much of a crapshoot it could be with 10 guys going for it at the end there? Anyone could win, it looked like.
I figured it out pretty early. About 10 laps into the race that they weren't going to let any few cars go, and so it was going to be a dice roll as to who was going to win. But you know, I had a lot of fun, and you know, I passed a lot of people, and I got passed a lot today. So you know, we just came up a little bit short.
Might we see you more around on the Busch Series and the Winston Cup Series?
Yeah, we're going to be around. We're planning on running, you know, the Winston Cup schedule, trying to run the whole schedule next year, and run a pretty good limited amount of Busch races. But we had fun today. That's the main thing.
Congratulations. This is definitely one young man. Mike Joy?
Thanks, Randy, the fellow who finished 8th today. Strong result for one of the Busch regulars and a bit of a surprise for a rookie to run in the top 10 and be with the lead pack all day. Let's get down to Glenn.
Well, Mike, you know, it's no surprise to you and certainly not a surprise to me. Mike has run at Daytona and Talladega, but not a whole lot. But so far this season hasn't been a whole lot of fun, but today it was.
Well, I'm with a good bunch of people. I've got great support with Phil Fattle, High 2 RUS, Wheels, and it's been a learning process. Today I just was out there learning what I could, trying to stay out of trouble and finish, and that's what I did. I learned a lot, and I just want to thank everybody that's been supportive of this team. It's been a little bit of a struggle, but we're coming.
Well, Mike, you got hammered a little bit last week at South Boston on the short track, but did it surprise you at how well you were able to handle the draft and stay up with the leaders today?
Well, I knew I had a good car under me. You know, I had good horsepower with Ron Hutter and Charlie Brunholzer with a body. So, I mean, you know you can run up front with a good car. So just staying out of trouble was the key, and that's what I concentrated on, and that's what gave us a decent finish.
Well, it's a good run. Congratulations. I think you'll see this give this team a boost, a shot in the arm. I think you'll see something at them for the last half of the season.
I think you're right, Glenn, and scoring is just updated. You can fill Mike in. He's been awarded 7th place in this race. They swapped positions with he and Mike Wallace, so give McLaughlin 7th in the standings today. Schrader the winner, Labonte 2nd, Earnhardt 3rd, Marlin 4th, and Jeff Purvis, the pole sitter, finishing 5th. Chad Little, Hermie Sadler, Mike McLaughlin, Mike Wallace, and Tracy Leslie. And again, this is all unofficial. Larry Pearson, Joe Nemechek, the point leader. David Green extends his lead. Dale Fishline, first ever Busch race, finished up in the lead draft. Randy LaJoy, 1 lap down in 15th. Doug Hevron, Morgan Shepherd, Dave Rezendes, Mike Garvey, Tim Fedowa, all 1 lap down. 2 laps back in 21st, Elton Sawyer, Steve Grissom, Derek Cope, Kenny Wallace, He's 3 laps down, along with Bobby Dotter and Kevin LePage in 26th. Johnny Rumley was 4 laps down. Rodney Combs 12 laps back. Then Robert Presley, Ernie Irvin in 30th. Harry Gant, Ricky Craven. These cars finishing up in the garage. Tommy Houston, Randy Porter, and Dale Jarrett, 35th. Dennis Setzer, Jason Keller, Johnny Benson, Jim Bound, Bobby Labonte, finishing up in 40th. Michael Waltrip, Rich Bickle, and Mark Martin. Perhaps the biggest surprise of the day was the fellow who ran second through part of this race after the leaders made pit stops in his first ever Busch race. Dale Fishline, the world's fastest speedway, finishes up in the lead draft. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, normally this guy's turning wrenches on a race car. Today he was behind the wheel, and what a heck of a job you did, Dale. First Busch race, running second right there at the end of the race. Had to be a thrill.
Well, it was great. I tell you, this is the 4th attempt, and we went to 3 others and didn't quite make them because of the lack of experience, but all the guys worked hard. I tell you, there are a bunch of people just brought in from every which direction. They're from Illinois. They haven't worked on a Busch car ever, and I just got to put my hat off to them. I like to say something to my sponsors, but I tell you, come on board first thing in the morning, I can't hardly remember them. You know, I got Southeast Technical Group, I got the Sports Nuts, I believe, on the quarter panel, and I'm sorry, but they know who they are, but they're on the hood. Well, had a great run, I tell you.
Well, you did have a great run. And tell us what was going through your mind, your first show that you made, and yet you're running right up front there at the end of the race.
Well, I tell you, the car, I couldn't run with them down the chutes, but it was really good through the corners. That's what kept me up with the lead pack. You know, my spotter kept telling me to go up high, but I was lifting all day long, and I know I wasn't going to get anywhere there, so I dive down and try to gain a position. I try to get it back up as soon as I can, and I dive back down. It seemed to work, but we broke transmission on that last pit stop, so it kind of killed us.
Well, congratulations on a great run. We hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Always fun to see somebody new do real well, and Dale Fishline did today. The Stavola Brothers Racing Team has put together a flood relief effort, Stock Car Racers Flood Relief for southern Georgia and northern Florida. They're looking for non-perishable goods like food, cleaning supplies, rubber boots, rubber gloves, building supplies, any other items to a drop-off location in your area. Here are the drop-off points. The speedways at Atlanta, Charlotte, Daytona, and Hickory, North Carolina, Quintard Mall in Anniston, Alabama, just east of here, and Spartanburg Phillies Stadium. Or for more information, you can call Burlington Motor Carriers at 1-800, it's toll-free, 226-0599. Now, I'm sure those folks will appreciate your support and any donations you might make. We'll be right back after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the FRAM Filters 500K on TNN has been brought to you by Allied Signals FRAM Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later.
Well, the fastest Ford to finish was that of Chad Little. He wound up today unofficially in the 6th position. Let's go to Randy.
Don't forget tomorrow, 12:45 Eastern Time, as we wrap up racing's fastest summertime weekend, the NASCAR Winston Cup Die Hard.
Have a little trouble with, here's Randy. Let's try him again. Randy? Let's check with Glenn Jarrett as we investigate that problem. And Glenn is with Hermie Sadler. Sadler again unofficially finished 9th today.
Well, Hermie, another top 10 finish. Really good year. Looked like you kept your nose clean. Ran a good, strong race out there. Finished 9th.
Yeah, we had a good, comfortable car all day, and we lost a lot of time when they pit stopped one time, the first pit stop, but worked our way back up there and stayed in the lead draft all day and got a lot of experience, which is the main thing. And Dennis for Lovers guys, Sitco Chevrolet, Goodyear, everybody really, we're back now. I hope we got some of that bad luck out of our way, and hopefully we can get some momentum going and make a run at the championship.
Well, you certainly have gained some more points on some of the cars today. Ricky Craven had problems, and you've hung in there tight all year. Even though you've had a lot of problems, you come back every week, you bounce back strong.
Well, racing, during the course of the year, everybody's going to have their times when they have bad races, and, hopefully everybody will get all the bad luck out of the way, and we can settle this thing on the racetrack the last 10 races. And, when I came in the pits, they said I was 6th, and now I'm 9th. I'm going to hurt him go home before I get over the top 10.
Okay, let's go back to Mike.
And again, very tight pack there at the finish, and all the positions we are giving are unofficial. The Busch Series point standings leaving Talladega will shake up somewhat. David Green leads Hermie Sadler now by 94 points. Ricky Craven falls to 3rd, 104 points out of the lead. Chad Little to 4th. Kenny Wallace is 5th. Bobby Dotter, Tracy Leslie, Robert Presley, Larry Pearson, and Dennis Setzer will be the top 10 in the point standings. Once again, all those finishing positions are unofficial. Fastest Ford to finish was Chad Little. We try to get word with him if we can get Randy's equipment back up. He winds up in 6th place today. 14 cars finished on the lead lap here today. On Friday, the Make-A-Wish Foundation was honored by FRAM Filters with a $2,000 donation, and Greg Sachs and Ernie Irvin participated with 4 youngsters from the greater Birmingham area who all have life-threatening illnesses, and gave those kids a little fun there in the media center and a ride in the pace car around Talladega Superspeedway, courtesy of the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the efforts of those drivers. A lot of fans still in the grandstand here at Talladega to watch Winston Cup practice for tomorrow's Die Hard 500. Dale Earnhardt and Jimmy Spencer will be on the front row for that one. But Buddy again today proves the old Talladega adage that until they wave the checkered flag and somebody gets under, you really don't know who's going to win here. There's just no way to pick a winner.
Well, that's a wonderful part of this racetrack is you never know who's going to win. You asked me who I picked with 2 laps to go. I wimped out. I said, I like them all because nobody can tell you that. I mean, it's like playing chess. If you make one mistake, you're out.
Well, now, you've always said here that you want to lead. You want to be in front. But today, the front wasn't Sterling Marlin found. The front wasn't the place to be. They ran him down, and at least one of those cars was going to get around him one side or the other.
Mike, if you're going to lead, you better have a loose race car that you can turn them sideways a little bit.
And make it a little wider. Well, immediately following our telecast, TNN brings you Inside Winston Cup Racing right here at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and there's a lot of motorsports all weekend long here on the Nashville Network. NHRA Today follows, and Neil Bonnett's Winter Special Edition coming up tomorrow at 10 a.m. and again at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. You'll want to tape that if you're not around to watch it, and I hope you do get to see it. Next Sunday for us, Hickory, North Carolina, the Pantry 500. As the network that brings you more Busch Series racing than everybody else combined takes you to Hickory and the short track and a little more slap and bang like we had up at South Boston, Virginia just a week ago. And right after Hickory, they'll have ASA racing. Darrell Waltrip will be in the field out at the Mellow Yellow 300 from Topeka, Kansas. So lots of racing right here on your station for NASCAR Action, the Nashville Network. I want to thank Darrell Waltrip, Buddy Baker, Randy Pemberton, and Glenn Jarrett for their work today. I'm Mike Joy. So long from Talladega, Alabama, and Ken Schrader's crew celebrates their victory in the FRAM Filters 500K.